God says, "My beloved soul, listen carefully, because this message is not about fear, it is about preparation. The date you see before you is not meant to pressure you, it is meant to awaken you." 14th February 2026 is not simply a day on a calendar. It represents a moment of alignment, a turning point that has been quietly forming long before you realized it. Massive change does not begin on one single day. It builds through small invisible shifts that finally become visible all at once. And what you are stepping into is not chaos, not destruction, not loss, it is transformation. Archangel Michael speaks not to threaten you, but to steady you. He says that the change coming into your life will not feel like a storm, it will feel like clarity. For years you have felt movement inside your spirit, as if something bigger was waiting just beyond your reach. You sensed it during your silent moments. You felt it when old patterns no longer satisfied you. You noticed it when certain relationships began to shift and certain opportunities quietly faded. That was not random. That was preparation. Massive changes in life rarely begin with noise. They begin with awareness. You have been outgrowing environments that once defined you. You have been questioning paths that once seemed certain. You have been feeling restless in places that once felt comfortable. This is not instability. This is evolution. And by the time February 14th arrives, you will not be the same person you were months before. The external shift will only reflect an internal one that has already begun. God says this is not about being ignored or abandoned. I never withdraw my help from you. But I do wait for your attention. When you become aware, you cooperate with change instead of resisting it. That is why this message found you, not to scare you, but to align you. When alignment happens, doors open naturally. When alignment happens, decisions become clearer. When alignment happens, the right people enter and the wrong situations fade without conflict. Beloved soul, what is coming is growth in areas you once felt stuck. Financial clarity where confusion existed. Emotional strength where insecurity once lived. Direction where doubt lingered. The changes may begin subtly. A conversation that shifts your thinking. An opportunity that stretches your abilities. A realization that releases old fear. But from that point forward, your life trajectory will begin to look different. Do not expect fireworks. Expect focus. Do not expect chaos. Expect maturity. Massive change is often simply a series of wise decisions made consistently. It is choosing discipline over distraction. It is choosing long-term peace over short-term comfort. It is choosing to step forward even when the path feels unfamiliar. Archangel Michael says courage will be required, but it will not feel overwhelming because you are being strengthened gradually. You must also understand something important. When growth begins, certain things must end. Not in pain, not in anger, but in completion. Some chapters naturally close because they have taught you what you needed to learn. You are not losing stability, you are upgrading your foundation. You are not being pushed away, you are being pulled forward. And when February 14th arrives, you will look back and realize the shift had already begun long before the date appeared. This transformation is not for show. It is for substance. It will refine your priorities. It will clarify your relationships. It will sharpen your focus. It will increase your confidence. And slowly, people around you will notice that something about you feels different, calmer, stronger, more intentional. That difference will not come from external validation. It will come from internal certainty. God says you are not being warned, you are being prepared. Preparation removes fear. Preparation builds peace. If you stay aware, reflective, and disciplined over the coming months, the changes ahead will not overwhelm you, they will elevate you. Massive change does not happen to you. It happens through you. So breathe deeply and understand this: your life is not about to collapse. It is about to expand. Not dramatically overnight, but steadily, powerfully, and permanently. The date is simply a milestone. The transformation begins within you now. God says, "My beloved soul," as the months move quietly toward February 14, 2026, something within you is already shifting. Massive changes do not arrive like sudden explosions, they arrive like steady sunrises. At first the sky only lightens slightly. Then shapes become clearer. Then warmth spreads across everything. The change coming into your life is like that sunrise. It is gradual, intentional, and purposeful. You may not feel it every day, but if you pause and reflect, you will realize that your thinking is evolving, your patience is strengthening, and your standards are rising. You are no longer satisfied with temporary comfort. You are no longer willing to remain in situations that limit your growth. This awareness is not random, it is preparation for expansion. Archangel Michael speaks of transformation not as a dramatic disruption but as an internal awakening that will reflect outwardly. Before your external circumstances shift, your identity shifts. You begin seeing yourself differently. You begin valuing your time differently. You begin setting boundaries that once felt uncomfortable. You begin protecting your energy with wisdom instead of guilt. These subtle internal adjustments are the foundation for the massive changes ahead. When the date arrives, it will not create a new you, it will reveal the version of you that has been forming quietly for months. There is also a deep emotional refinement taking place within you. Old fears that once controlled your decisions are slowly losing their power. Situations that once intimidated you now feel manageable. Conversations that once felt overwhelming now feel navigable. You are becoming steadier. Stability is not the absence of challenge, it is the presence of inner balance. And this inner balance is what will carry you through the next season with confidence. The changes ahead are not meant to destabilize you, they are meant to demonstrate your growth. Financial awareness may sharpen during this period. You may begin reviewing your goals more seriously. You may reassess how you spend, save, and invest your time and resources. Opportunities may appear that align more closely with your skills and long-term vision. But remember, clarity requires discipline. When growth opportunities arise, approach them thoughtfully. Massive change does not demand rushed decisions. It requires calculated courage. Evaluate carefully. Move wisely. Expand intentionally. Relationships will also reflect this shift. Some connections may deepen because they align with your evolving mindset. Others may naturally drift because they no longer resonate with who you are becoming. This is not rejection, it is alignment. When your identity grows, your environment adjusts. Do not fear this adjustment. Trust it. It is a sign that your life is reorganizing itself. God says, "My beloved soul," as the calendar slowly moves toward February 14, 2026, what is truly transforming is not just your outer world but your inner architecture. Massive change does not simply alter circumstances, it restructures identity. You are being reshaped from within. Your patience has deepened. Your reactions have slowed. Your perspective has widened. Situations that once triggered frustration now invite reflection. People who once unsettled you now reveal lessons. This maturity is not accidental. It is evidence that you are stepping into a higher version of yourself, and when identity evolves, life must adjust accordingly. Archangel Michael speaks of courage, not dramatic bravery, but quiet courage. The courage to release outdated habits. The courage to say no to distractions. The courage to choose discipline when comfort tempts you. Massive change requires small courageous decisions repeated daily. It is not a single bold leap. It is consistent alignment with growth. And you have already begun this alignment. You may not have noticed it clearly, but your thinking is less reactive and more strategic. You are asking deeper questions about your future. You are becoming selective with your time and protective of your energy. These are signs of expansion. As February approaches, you may sense increasing clarity about your direction. Goals that once felt distant now feel achievable because your approach has changed. You are no longer wishing, you are planning. You are no longer waiting for rescue, you are building resilience. Financial awareness, career ambition, emotional balance, relational boundaries, all of these areas are stabilizing. Massive change is not chaos entering your life, it is structure strengthening your life. It is the moment when preparation and opportunity intersect naturally. You must also recognize that transformation requires letting go of what no longer aligns. This may include outdated mindsets, limiting beliefs, or environments that quietly suppressed your growth. Release does not mean anger. It means understanding. When you understand that growth requires space, you allow certain chapters to close gracefully. By the time February 14th arrives, you will look back and realize you were already clearing room for what is next. There is also a deeper emotional healing happening within you. Old insecurities are being replaced by grounded confidence. You are learning that validation from others is temporary, but self-trust is lasting. You are discovering that consistency builds self-respect. And self-respect changes how you walk, speak, and decide. Massive change is visible not only in achievements but in posture, the way you carry yourself when you know your worth quietly. God says this season is about refinement. Refinement is not always comfortable, but it is always purposeful. It sharpens your focus. It eliminates unnecessary noise. It reveals your priorities clearly. As distractions fade, direction becomes stronger. And with direction comes momentum. Momentum builds naturally when your actions align with your values. That alignment is what creates lasting transformation. You may also notice that your standards are rising. You expect more from yourself and from your environment. Not in arrogance, but in awareness. You understand that settling for less keeps you stagnant. Raising standards is not pride, it is growth. It signals that you are ready for greater responsibility. And greater responsibility always precedes greater opportunity. Imagine standing on February 14th not with uncertainty but with calm assurance. Imagine feeling steady, knowing that the months before prepared you intentionally. Imagine recognizing that the massive change was not a sudden event but the visible result of disciplined choices made quietly. That is how real transformation unfolds. It feels natural because it is earned. Archangel Michael reminds you that strength grows in silence. While others chase quick excitement, you are cultivating sustainable progress. While others rush, you are refining. While others doubt, you are developing clarity. This quiet growth is powerful. It builds foundations that cannot easily shake. It prepares you for opportunities that require maturity. Your life is not about to flip upside down. It is about to elevate. Elevation does not mean perfection, it means progress. It means stepping into responsibility with confidence. It means trusting your preparation. It means walking into new chapters without fear because you have strengthened yourself internally. So breathe deeply and recognize what is happening. You are not being warned. You are being prepared. You are not being pressured. You are being positioned. Massive change is not approaching to test you, it is approaching to reflect who you have become. And who you are becoming is stronger, wiser, and more intentional than ever before. God says, "My beloved soul," as the days continue unfolding and February 14, 2026 moves closer, what is happening within you is becoming stronger than what is happening around you. The most powerful changes in life do not begin in your environment, they begin in your awareness. You are starting to see your life with sharper clarity. Patterns that once felt normal now feel limiting. Conversations that once seemed harmless now feel unproductive. Habits that once felt comforting now feel restrictive. This is not discomfort for no reason. It is expansion pressing against old boundaries. When you grow internally, the old version of your life begins to feel smaller. That sensation is not confusion, it is elevation. Archangel Michael speaks of preparation that builds silently. You are learning patience where you once rushed. You are learning discipline where you once reacted emotionally. You are learning structure where you once relied on impulse. These lessons are not temporary, they are forming the foundation for the massive changes ahead. The transformation approaching your life is not chaos entering your world, it is maturity solidifying inside you. By the time February 14th arrives, you will not need dramatic signs to confirm growth. You will feel it in your steadiness. You will recognize it in your decision-making. You will sense it in the way you respond rather than react. There is also a refinement happening in your goals. Some ambitions you once chased were rooted in comparison, in the need to prove something, in the desire to gain validation. Now those motivations are fading. You are beginning to pursue stability, fulfillment, and long-term peace rather than short-term applause. That shift alone is massive. When your intentions become purer, your outcomes become stronger. You are no longer chasing noise, you are building substance. And substance sustains itself. Financial clarity may continue sharpening during this season. You may feel compelled to organize your plans more carefully, to eliminate unnecessary expenses, to strengthen your savings, to build new skills. These impulses are not random. They are alignment. When massive change approaches, wisdom increases. You begin thinking about sustainability instead of excitement. You begin thinking about assets instead of appearances. You begin thinking about structure instead of speed. This is how transformation becomes permanent rather than temporary. Emotionally, you are becoming less dependent on external reassurance. There is a quiet confidence developing within you. You no longer need every plan to be validated by others before you believe in it. You no longer need approval to move forward. You are trusting your growth. That trust is powerful because it stabilizes you even when outcomes are still forming. When you trust your preparation, uncertainty loses its intensity. Relationships will continue adjusting naturally as you rise in maturity. You may notice that you are drawn toward people who challenge you to grow rather than people who keep you comfortable. You may distance yourself from negativity not out of anger but out of clarity. This is not isolation, it is alignment. As you refine your identity, your circle refines with you. Massive change does not require conflict, it requires boundaries. And boundaries create space for healthier dynamics. God says the transformation approaching. Your life is not about dramatic external shifts but about internal solidity. When you are solid inside, external change feels manageable. New opportunities will not overwhelm you because you have strengthened your structure. Unexpected challenges will not destabilize you because your foundation is deeper. Massive change becomes a reflection of readiness, not a test of survival. Imagine standing on February 14th feeling steady, not surprised. Imagine recognizing that the growth you feel is the result of months of conscious effort. Imagine looking back and realizing that what once seemed distant is now within reach because you chose discipline consistently. That realization will not feel loud, it will feel satisfying. It will feel earned. Archangel Michael reminds you that elevation is quiet. The strongest trees grow slowly. The most stable structures are built patiently. The most confident individuals are formed through consistent self-reflection. You are becoming someone who values depth over display, consistency over excitement, maturity over impulse. That identity is what sustains massive change. Your life is not about to be shaken, it is about to be strengthened. Not through dramatic events, but through steady evolution. You are not being rushed. You are being refined. You are not being pressured. You are being positioned. And when February 14th arrives, it will simply mark a milestone in a journey you have already been walking. So breathe deeply and understand this truth: the massive change ahead is not something happening to you, it is something happening through you. And because it is happening through you, it will last. God says, "My beloved soul," as February 14, 2026 draws nearer, the greatest transformation taking place is not outside of you but within you, and this is the final truth you must understand: massive change becomes permanent only when it becomes part of who you are. You have been refining your mindset, strengthening your discipline, sharpening your clarity, and releasing outdated patterns. None of this has been accidental. Every realization you experienced, every uncomfortable awareness that pushed you to grow, every quiet decision to improve your habits has been shaping the foundation beneath your future. The date ahead is not a sudden turning point, it is a reflection of a journey you have already been walking. Archangel Michael speaks of completion, not an ending, but the completion of an old identity. There was a version of you that doubted more than believed, reacted more than reflected, rushed more than planned. That version served its purpose. It survived challenges. It learned lessons. But it cannot carry you into the next season. The new version of you is calmer, more intentional, less easily shaken. You pause before responding. You evaluate before deciding. You protect your energy and resources with awareness. This maturity is the true massive change. There is also a deep stabilization happening in your confidence. It is no longer loud or dependent on validation. It is quiet and steady. You do not feel the need to announce your growth because you can feel it internally. When opportunities appear, you will approach them with structure instead of excitement. When challenges appear, you will approach them with logic instead of panic. This emotional balance is what makes transformation sustainable. Without balance, growth collapses under pressure. With balance, growth becomes resilient. Financially, you are learning that security is built through systems, not wishes. You understand that saving consistently matters more than earning sporadically. You understand that investing wisely matters more than chasing quick gains. You understand that controlling expenses protects peace. These realizations are not small, they are life-altering. By the time February 14th arrives, your financial perspective will feel clearer. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are operating from structure rather than confusion. Relationships will continue aligning naturally with this new identity. You will gravitate toward conversations that inspire growth and distance yourself from environments that encourage stagnation. This shift will not require conflict. It will happen quietly as your priorities evolve. When your standards rise, your surroundings adjust. This is not rejection, it is refinement. God says the massive change you anticipate is actually the solidification of everything you have been building internally. You will notice yourself thinking differently, planning further ahead, and trusting your preparation. The anxiety that once surrounded uncertainty will lessen because you recognize your ability to adapt. Adaptability is strength. When you know you can adjust wisely, fear loses influence. Imagine standing on February 14th with calm awareness. No dramatic shock, no overwhelming chaos, just a deep understanding that you are not who you were before. You are more grounded, more structured, more disciplined, more focused. That realization will feel powerful because it is earned. You did not arrive there by chance. You arrived there through intentional growth. Archangel Michael reminds you that the most powerful changes in life often look simple from the outside. A wiser decision, a healthier habit, a stronger boundary, a clearer plan. But when these simple shifts compound over time, they transform everything. That is what is happening in your life. Not a temporary wave, but a permanent elevation. This is not about being warned or pressured. It is about being aware. Awareness creates responsibility. Responsibility creates structure. Structure creates stability. And stability supports expansion. The expansion coming into your life is built on a foundation you have been strengthening quietly. That is why it will last. So breathe deeply and recognize the truth. February 14, 2026 is not a day of fear, it is a milestone of growth. It marks the visible evidence of internal evolution. You are not stepping into chaos, you are stepping into clarity. You are not losing control, you are gaining alignment. And because this transformation is rooted in identity, it will remain long after the date passes. If you truly feel that this message connected with your spirit and you're ready to step into your next season with clarity and strength, type Amen below as a sign of your commitment to growth. Share this with someone who is also preparing for a powerful shift, and subscribe so you don't miss the next message meant to guide you forward.